Hello, everybody.
Hello. Good to see you all.
We're taking you to a very special place today.
Here's the place where we met for our first date. That little restaurant. And Angela parked way over here. I just need to now because nobody's here this time of night.
Pueblo. I parked way over there. Joe was parked here. So I did a nice little model walk for him over to the restaurant.
It seems like only 10 years ago. My wallet.
Okay, first of all, this was the same booth that we sat in.
But I sat on the other side.
But yes, he sat on the other side. We're doing this for your benefit.
Yeah, because we don't like to sit next to each other when we eat. Angela has a flying wing.
Yes, I do.
Lovely.
I know a lot of people are very curious of how we met and all that. So we met behind a movie theater while we were working on a movie, an independent film. When we were on the set, we were flirting. I had a crush on him because I just thought he was so handsome. I didn't think that there was any shot of anything. Always kind of watching him, listening to what he said. And apparently, at the same time as I was crushing on him,
one of the guys in the movie said to me that he thought that Angela was interested in me. And I liked her too, but I could not fathom at the time that she would be interested in me because I'm so old. And I said to him, really? And he was like, yeah, man, aren't you seeing that? I knew we had a connection, but it just seems too far-fetched for me. So I was completely enthralled with the fact that she may be interested in me. They were filming a scene at a barn where I was not in the scene because I was a law enforcement, and she was a kidnapped victim. Smell that. Ah, that was just so good on your face. So when Will told me that, he said, Angie's here on the set. I said, really? I was so excited. He said, she's interested in you. You ought to come over. I said, oh, man, I can't. How long are they going to be there? And for whatever reason, I couldn't make it over because it was quite a distance. But I was just, I tell you, I felt like I was in high school or even younger,
I love that.
It was very sweet and it was very sincere.
It was
and now
sincere.
we know each other. We don't know where those feelings have drifted off to, but still. When she was on vacation with her family at the beach up north, I was texting her, let me send her a text. Well, maybe she'll get back to me if she wants. It won't hurt anything. If she says no, she says no.
During that trip, we were texting back and forth almost the entire time. And everyone was wondering, who are you talking to? Who are you texting? And I'm like, oh, just this guy from the film I'm doing. Everything flowed. The conversation flowed.
And then I didn't hear from her. Then I texted.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything. Then I thought, oh, man, I probably said the wrong thing.
I all of a sudden just didn't text
In
her
her
back.
early days of our relationship, she had a propensity for not returning phone calls or texts to people. I didn't know that. I thought when you text someone, you should get back to them pretty quickly. She could go a couple days without getting back to you. So imagine you're interested in her, and there's a connection there, and we're texting back and forth. And then I'm like, what the hell happened?
So I was really bad like that.
I should have realized something was up with her at that point. She was kind of strange, but...
But then I felt so bad because I thought I ruined my chances with him. I mean, I really liked him, but finally I just got up the courage and said, you know what? I happened to be in town to help cast a short film that my friend was doing. And I was like, well, I'm in town. Maybe that's the excuse I can use. So I texted him and I said, hey.
You mean you really weren't doing it?
Of course I was doing it.
Oh.
But that was just an excuse that I had. I was like, oh, I have an excuse now
That's a good
to
excuse.
talk to
I'll
him.
have to try that sometime.
So I said, hey, I'm in town. You want to hang out, go for dinner or something? And he said yes. Picked the place. He picked this, Pueblo Viejo. And I got lost on the way. Came out. I had a dress on.
She had a dress on, and she had on 5-inch heels, which put her up like this. So when she got out of the car, it's like looking, wow, oh, wow. Oh my God!
I don't wear heels.
So I thought it was some Amazon.
That's the story of how we finally ended up on our first date. It took a little maneuvering on both our parts, but it happened.
So we had a great time here, and we were both, I was chatting up, telling my life story, which really takes longer than 10 minutes, but... Yeah,
I was really nervous, though. I would say it's the first kind of formal date I've gone on. And finally, as the dinner came to an end...
I took a shot and said, you want to come to my place and play some music? Because I have guitars, and Angela sings.
So that was an immediate, yes, of course, I want to go to your place and play music.
You have to strum. You can't just. That's not how you play music.
So we head to his place. I follow him in my car because I drove there. True to his word, we get in there. He brings me to his music room, which you guys have seen in the Dating My Father video. And he starts playing his guitar and starts serenading me. And oh my gosh, I mean... So I'm loving it. I'm loving his playing. I'm loving everything about it. But that was the first hour.
Thank you.
And then the second hour went by.
She was liking it then too.
Then the third hour went by.
I'm not so much liking it anymore.
Yeah. At that point, I was really getting sick of it. I'm sitting there, I'm listening intently. I'm enjoying the situation. I'm enjoying my night with him. But he's been across the room the entire time.
Well,
So,
I didn't know where it was going to go. I was quite aware of her age, and of mine, more in particular. So, I didn't know where it was going to go. I did not want to seem too forward, although she did follow me to my house, but that doesn't always mean... Well, most of the time it does, but usually... I didn't think in this case that it meant only play the guitar for 20 minutes and then ravish me later, I didn't expect that.
well, I wasn't expecting that.
And that didn't happen.
But yeah, it was getting to be probably around midnight at that point. I mean, really, this guy played the guitar until midnight.
My fingers were bleeding.
Finally, it was amazing. He picks it up and gets up and puts it on the stand. I was like, oh my god, it's a miracle. No, I didn't say that. I was thinking that. I was like, oh man, okay, what now? It's really late. And then he finally sits next to me on the couch. Now,
She's been waiting all night.
I've been waiting 3 hours. I've waited.
Okay, now she could have stood up while I'm playing and just walked over to me and leaned in and kissed me, which would have been fine. And that's allowable in the art of seduction.
But as I described
one of my
before,
books.
I was a nervous girl. I was kind of doing some of this stuff for the first time.
I didn't know all these things.
He sits there. He sits on the couch, and I say, I've been waiting for you to sit there all night. The reaction to that was... I was like, whoa!
And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you?
And then we did it again. So that's how it went. That was our first date.
Well, our first date was a little...
It
There
was
nervousness. There was, like any first date. We haven't been back to eat at this place since then because we have such bad memories.
We created our website. May December Society came about how many months into our relationship? I mean, maybe 3 months, 3 or 4
3
months.
months, yeah, we did.
Joe came up with the idea.
I can remember vividly. I was sitting at my desk. Angela was sitting on the sofa behind me, and I said, do you think, there must be other May-December relationships out there everywhere, around the world, or we had no idea the extent at which it would reach. And I said, we can do one of those things, can't we? Make a website. And Angela said, yeah, I can do that. Boom. And here we are. We appreciate you. We love you guys. And keep sending us comments and keep posting.
Yes.
And if you haven't joined, join MayDecemberSociety.com.
Yes. I hope you enjoy that, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we will. Goodbye. And Lana Del Rey, I know it's you. You sent us a note. Sign in again. Bye-bye.
Bye. So who's going to pick up the check?
All right, I'll get the check.
I'm paying for Joseph.
That's right. That's a good girl.
Not a gold digger, bitches.